Twitter has betrayed AH. You're hearing me right? They have turned on AH. And it is a huge about face considering Twitter, the platform, was firmly anti-JD just a few short months ago. They allowed her to target JD and anyone around him with impunity. Well, apparently not anymore. Isn't it amazing? I mean, all the PR money in the world, all the mainstream shills that you can put out there, it can't combat the truth. Make sure you share this everywhere, too. You and we're going to talk about it and much more today. Oh, man, I mean, this is fun times. This is fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. By the way, I hope you are doing excellently. And talk about an absolute betrayal here. You have AH being labeled as misinformation. You know, essentially, people, they need to know more about what she's saying. Why? Because she's not telling the entire truth here. Twitter themselves is labeling her post with this stuff. I mean, this is something I have never seen, especially with somebody like AH, who's being shilled for by the mainstream media, has huge PR backing behind her, and yet, I mean, look at exactly where she is. Now, we'll look at this new change in just a second, but to understand how big of a betrayal this is, I want you to look at what they were allowing just a few short months ago. You were talking about a platform that was allowing her to do anything that she wanted, while it openly targeted JD. You can still see the remnants of it right here. It allowed her to openly target Adam Waldman. I mean, she didn't even hide this at all. She commented to him, making fun of him, which would be a no-no for anybody else out there. Then did an about face, saying that the man was a harasser, that he was bullying her, that he had been going after her, and on. Got him mass flagged off the platform. And Twitter, they went much, much further than that, ignoring Adam Waldman for weeks before telling him, hey, you're going to remain suspended, which was brought up in the courtroom while these people, they mass flagged other accounts, myself included, which is saying either Twitter, they sat on the sidelines silent, or they were complicit in this. Now, fast forward to the courtroom decision, because what a difference that win makes, right? Especially when it's a jury of your peers speaking out. No longer does she get rubber stamp statements from Twitter. I mean, yeah, I'm sure she gets to go out, she gets to attack through other people, but she herself, she gets labels, misinformation labels attached to her statements. That, like I said, is a betrayal. You know, she reads it like that. She wants to get even. But how's she going to do that anymore? The statements that are being labeled too, I mean, these are big ones for AH. You'll notice the date right here, 06/01/2022. This is probably the biggest date in her life. Why? Because this is when the courtroom decision comes in. If she can't spin that thing positively for herself in some way, she's done. I mean, even the shills, they're going to back away. So she tries to do that. Well, guess what? She's not allowed to do that with impunity anymore. Notice the label right here. Now, this is about backlash first and foremost, too, because readers are demanding that something changes. And remember, when it says readers, you're not talking about a dozen or even 100. You're talking about tens of thousands of people wanting something to change. I have never seen a statement like this get a label like this as well. I mean, that says plenty, not only about what AH did, but about how people perceive it, how Twitter, again, they perceive their liability and on. And they go from there, too. They don't just add this as, hey, you need to look up things, but they put a statement, which we'll read in just a moment, and they link to an article noting, hey, she lost in the court. Now, if you look at her statement without that, I mean, it makes all the difference here. Listen to this. I'm going to read it really quickly. Then we're going to read what they added to it. The disappointment I feel today is beyond the words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. So you can see right there, minutes after the trial, she decides she's going to target JD. She figures they're going to stand with her in doing it. Like I said, the only word I can think of there would be betrayal. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. Now, she's trying to use identity as a weapon. A lot of people didn't appreciate that either, especially people that had actually gone through this stuff. It is a setback. It is a setback clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. That, by the way, is an attack on the public. Oh, you didn't believe me? You didn't do this, that, and the other. Attack on the court, attack on the public, and more. Then you have the attack on JD's attorneys. Here, I believe JD's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury, so now you have the jury attacked as well, to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and to ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. Again, you can see all the misinformation to this. I'm sad I lost the case, but I'm sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Yeah, you can speak freely and openly, unless Adam Waldman is speaking, then you get him banned, right? Yeah, JD, you got to get him shut down. Myself, anyone else. But this is the context here. Readers added context. They thought people might want to know. AH was found liable of defamation in a court of law. The jury ruled that her op-eds contained factual errors. Factual errors. I mean, that is still spin. That is coming from the media outlet CBS, though. That's not Twitter. That's just what they link to. And her claims from JD. The jury ruled that she was liable in 3 different counts. By the way, I would love if they would put, hey, she only had 3 accounts there and was awarded a total of $15 million to JD. Again, that is a huge statement, but attached to that huge statement is something even bigger. You have an article that talks about what happened so people can actually look up the reality. Again, when you see this added to this, what that says is, man, Twitter, they must view this as something, again, that could be potentially bad for them. And like I said, she's going to see this as a betrayal. People, they're going to go after them for it. They're going to go after it because they labeled other things as well. Good luck with that. They already tried that. It didn't work out. Share it. Like I said, show, again, the about face, the betrayal. It's hilarious.